There we go. Hey, welcome everyone to today's Helm developer meeting, Thursday, January the 18th. The call has been recorded, so if you don't want to be on camera, you can disconnect or turn off your camera. I will find the meeting notes and share, and we can see what's on the agenda. Just give me 1 second to organize my tabs. Right. Uh, the meeting notes should be shared. All right. Actually, I have to. Okay. Um. So what do we got? Oh, nice. So we have an announcement. Helm 3.14.0 was released. Uh, I guess Matt, was there any kind of significant changes? I think you did the hard work to make this, so thank you.
I mean, there were changes in the release notes, nothing significant, but some new features, things like that.
Cool, nice. Um, and we have discussion from Eddie.
Hey, hello. I'm Eddie Zaneski. I've never joined you all before, but I've probably worked with you on some Kubernetes stuff. I currently serve as the co-chair and tech lead for SIG-CLI and work on kubectl. So I'm sure we've all interacted on PRs at some point. I submitted a PR yesterday, and I'm mainly looking for a discussion to take place around that. I don't know how you all approach like PR reviews or getting things looked at, but I figured I'd swing by when I saw it was today. The TLDR here is that the root command for Helm is not currently exported, and I took a stab at seeing what it would look like to kind of make that just a root command exportable. And the idea behind this is it's work on this tool called Zarf. We're planning to donate it to the OpenSSF later this year. And it's used for air gap environments. And so it's used to install things on like US nuclear submarines, and it's used in some other spaces. And the idea is they'd like to have like one tool to be able to like install in their air gap environment. And so as part of Zarf, we bundle like kubectl, K9s, a bunch of other tools in there as well. And so as far as bundling Helm goes, they currently are they kind of just like quasi forked it and copied a bunch of source code files in and have been like manually patching and maintaining them. And I took a look at it when I started last week, and I was like, oh, I think we could do this probably a little better. So I put together this PR just to see what it looked like. I structured it like how we have kube control structured, where you can kind of just import a new default kubectl command. And yeah, so I rambled for a bit, but that's the general idea. Obviously don't need to make a decision or do anything now. I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention and see if you're open to something like this.
Anybody have any thoughts or?
I would say sure, it makes sense. I think when we threw together this pattern in Helm, um, I don't even know what people were doing architecture wise for it back then. So I don't even think it was under consideration to do this. But I can understand doing it for tools to import it. And it probably would have made some of the work that I'd done in the past on other tools a little bit easier, where I imported some of this stuff, or rather just copied it in and had to keep it in sync. And so I could see it being useful. And I recognize the pattern as being just like kubectl because I've spent enough time reading that source. So, I mean, it would probably take a good review and then really consider it. I mean, the idea makes sense to me.
Yeah, there's
That's
just
awesome.
530 files to review.
Most of them are renamed and just changing the package name from main to command. And again, I took some like creative liberties with naming things. I'm happy to change anything. But yeah, I tried to keep the surface area of what was exported as low as possible, because I obviously don't. Obviously, when you expose something publicly, then it's a breaking change to remove it. As far as this being a breaking chain goes, I don't think it is one. I was still able to build and test and all the stuff I was using Helm for, because it just kind of refactored it to a private package to a more public package. So yeah, and then I had to like do a few, like there was a plugin error that had to be exported to be able to work. And again, none of that has to go through the way it is, but that was just to, to get it working.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'll take a look at it. I saw that a lot of it was renamed things because I was on PR duty and I went, wow, 500 and some. What is this? And so I started to look at it and I saw a lot of it was renaming with just the tweaks in the package name. So I can at some point in the next couple of weeks take a look at it and give some initial feedback, I think. It's big, so it'll come chunked as feedback. Little here, a little there.
I appreciate that a ton, and anything I can do to help you through it or make any changes, I'll be super responsive. I did run into a two failing tests that were warning me about a race condition, and I wasn't sure if that was a pre-existing flake or a something I did, but I still need to dig into it. So
Okay.
I put that in the PR that I need to figure out the test a bit more. But.
Okay.
Got it. I have one question. So this makes it importable, but we're not actually moving it from private to public now, right? It just makes it actually importable properly through
Well,
tools like
it's the
GL.
commands are all in the main package right now, which is something that you can't import and go. And so this moves them out of the main package into a separate package and then has main basically grab them. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
that's why they become importable because you can't import main.
Right. So the main thought here is backwards compatibility. Whenever we make something public, we're basically committing to keeping it as such. And we haven't really had to do that exactly for this part of it. And I'm wondering if you're not really touching all that stuff, but I'm wondering if we want to take a look and commit to
Oh
keeping.
yeah, that would be part of the consideration as well.
Yeah.
Is to do it, is to think what does that mean for support and those kinds of things.
Yeah. Like totally outside of what you did, Eddie, and that looks great.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of it is internal. Like you can see the new create command isn't exported.
Right.
So
Yeah, my main thought here as well is that, I mean, we're already, whilst we don't export the Go sources being public, we have a pretty strong backwards compatibility for the CLI anyway, so it's probably not changing that much practically. Through, if there was stuff which people had just made as public functions, which we could make private, that would probably be a good idea to alleviate some of that ongoing support burden. Because I suspect people didn't really care when they created new functions in command because they were never going to be imported, so they just made them public. Because why not? I suspect, I don't know, I suspect there's probably a bunch of those. This all looks, to be honest, not very exported anyway. But all right. Well, thanks, Eddie, and thank you for joining, and nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll move to Michael's. I think this is an ongoing.
Yeah, I guess there's something I've been trying to get in for the last 3 or 4 releases at this stage, but I guess it hasn't happened yet. Scott had looked at it there, was it last week or the week before? So I'm just kind of hoping to keep a bit of momentum going and hopefully able to get it merged in. I guess I'm bringing it up early in the 315 cycle now, so I guess we want time to get it in 315. If we get it merged in soon, then I guess there's less danger of it slipping off the agenda towards the end of the release.
Yeah, better to get merged early than later. So I'll leave this one open on my list. Yeah, I did see it. I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah.
And sorry, it was Michael.
Sorry.
Or...
For what it's worth, Matt. I just to save you like some cycles. I looked at what you asked changed, and I believe it has been changed. And I think that's really the only reason it hasn't been approved yet.
Yeah, and this is another one that I'm trying to get in for the last 3 or 4 releases as well. So this is where you hit, say, a transient, say, network issue or something during the install, and then it bounds out. So it's just add a bit of robustness to this. So this, where you've got a long running install that takes a significant length of time, and then something transient happens and it fails, this can really save a lot of time if that can be handled a little bit more robustly, rather than having to start the install over again. So again, just bringing it up early in the hope that we can get this merged in for 3.15.
I think myself and Joe have already reviewed this one, so I think it just requires an approval from someone else. And from memory, it was fairly simple. It's just adding this retry. If that helps for
Yeah, and
for
Joe
further
had
review.
not approved it yet. He was on it, but I don't see an approval from him on it.
Okay. I can. Or maybe it's best if you want to, Matt. If you ping Joe, maybe.
I'll take a
Joey
look
won't
at it
mind too much.
first, and then I can ping him if.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Is there anything we want else to discuss? I could add some additional code reviews, which I think would be nice, but I think there's probably enough to get through this week. It'll save me trying to dig through my my never-ending list of tabs. One thing I should mention is me and Scott, we discussed there is a bug somewhere in the values handling where if a subchart specifies a null key, that key is not removed from the values before we pass to the dependencies, and there is a whole I don't know what my screen's doing. Sorry if you lost the share.
No, we have it still.
Okay. And there is a whole bunch of issues, which I'll just copy and paste in here, which all all relate to the same thing.
Yeah, and I
So I'm
think
going to
status
consolidate these. I think I'm not sure what happened. Some of these are quite old, and I think they just got lost. Some of these got mixed up with the values changes in Helm 3.13, at least from my triage perspective. Scott managed to reproduce from our discussion last week, right, Scott? And
yeah, just a minimal reproduction.
and so I tried. So the confusing thing with this bug is it's not in Colise values, I don't think, which is kind of surprising. So I'm gonna spend more time digging and trying to sorting out these issues. I just wanted to raise awareness that these are there. And that's it from me, I guess, on this one. Is there anything else to discuss?
There's the hip review section. If we have a moment, I think it may be you and me, Matt, to look at these right now if we have a moment on this call. But I was looking at the hips again, and I really think it's just a matter of opening them one at a time and saying, oh yeah, we already do this as protocol. Let's mark this thing that is in draft mode to accepted.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wonder, would you like to do that right now so that everyone can, or should we just kind of get time back now and offline it?
You mean for the hips?
Yeah.
We could look at some right now. Should we should, before we get started though, do assignments, I think, just to make sure we don't run out of time for them at the end. And I'm not sure I'll be here next week, so I can volunteer for PR review, but I can't volunteer for notes or moderator.
Sorry, Karen.
I can.
Sorry, go ahead. Was that Scott?
I was just going to volunteer for whatever, honestly. I'll be here. Let me be more specific. I can moderate.
Well, I can do notes again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do issue triage. Okay, back to HIP reviews.
Yeah, so okay, well. Maybe I should share my screen.
Over.
Sure.
Just real fast here. Okay, so some of these I think we had already moved. For example, this one was the most obvious one, moving to accepted, is the actual writing of a HIP.
I don't know if your screen, at least to me, it looks like it's still sharing my screen.
I think you might need to stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Okay, my corporate Zoom, it just takes it over, but
yeah. Well, all these
okay.
HIPs here that are listed here, Scott, are the existing accepted done HIPs, aren't they?
Yes, but I ultimately I think so from our point of view and in an actuality, but for example, we're still in draft status, and I was just going to make a PR to simply move them all over, and so we could offline it. I just wondered if, since we're on a call, we could just kind of just look at them and say,
oh, nope, that makes sense. Let's go through it. Let's bust through.
Okay, yeah. So the predefined release dates, I believe we
long implemented that.
Yes. And
anything we might screw up a little somewhere in there should be on me, but I think that is implemented, and they all show up and they're on the same day of the month every year.
Exactly. Yeah. They're on on milestones. Okay, cool. Just one other quick thing. What I was thinking is if we find some discrepancy in what was originally recommended that we accepted versus what we're actually implementing, we can always just update that if that sounds good.
Okay.
How projects join the Helm org. I think we have already done this in a few cases.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I think we've documented the backwards compatibility rules really well.
Yep. This one's done and is being implemented and referenced to people regularly.
Yeah. Okay. Helm org maintainers and deprecated projects. I was thinking that maybe we just take another quicker look at this before we move this immediately to accepted, because I feel like this is really a governance thing. So I was just going to skip over it for now, if that's okay.
Yeah, we should skip over this one.
Yeah. OCI support, it's changed a bit since here, but we've implemented all this stuff like long since.
Yep.
Okay. I am
not descriptions of customs completions. It's implemented.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. That
mark is done.
Maybe we can skip over the security team members one. Okay. Distributed responsibility for picking.
Yeah, we're totally not doing this. People are
that's
not
what I
following
thought. Yeah,
we should probably keep this one in draft and look at it.
Revisit.
But it essentially has not been happening. But that's a maintainer's tidiness thing we should probably do.
Yeah. Okay. And I had some questions about it too when I was doing some of that stuff. So okay, cool. CRD handling. I think this is just simply, it's already final.
It's already final. Yep, it's informational. It's final.
I think we can move the triage maintainers to accepted, right? Given that we have several.
Yep.
Including George. The annotation for images. I I actually want to go back on this. I thought we implemented it, but I just want to double check.
Yeah, this is more informational than anything else because I don't think we actually
Yeah.
do anything with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a sec. Oh, this isn't actually what I thought for a second. Sorry. I was thinking of okay, I was thinking of the OCI annotations that were added.
No. This is specific
Yeah.
to, if you
Yeah,
scroll to the example,
Yeah. Yeah.
the idea here is to list out the images. Oh, go up a little further, right there. You can list out the images that are used as an annotation, and this is kind of an official one that if we
That's
say
right.
this, then others can know and continue to use this, and they know it's part of it. But this is really more informational than anything else. We don't actually do anything with it.
Yeah, I remember this really well now.
Yeah.
And part of this is right is that like Artifact Hub and other things could follow suit if we.
Yep, and other tools would know it.
And then I believe the media type registration is completely finished. So
Yeah, I think so.
okay. Thanks, Matt. I'll go ahead and make PRs for this.
Great.
Thanks for the reality check and stuff.
All right.
Well, I mute myself. I think we've still got shout outs and social media on the agenda. I guess again a shout out to Matt for making the 3.14 release. Thank you. And
I'll do a tweet for the latest release after this call. So I'll take that.
awesome. All right, and we've done assignments, so I think we can finish up. Unless anybody has any last
Real
minute
quick,
thoughts.
shout out to George for agreed with your shout out, and Matt, and shout out to you, George, for you've been really following up on things really well lately. Like, I mean, not that you hadn't before, but just noticeably. So thank you. And also shout out to Karen for, you've been staying on top of things that we need for talks and CFPs and all that good stuff. So the emails, and I appreciate all that.
Oh, that reminds me. I didn't put it on the agenda, but just to confirm, I did sign up for us getting a booth at the Project Pavilion for KubeCon. So I haven't put in a request for when we want it, like if we want it for the first or second half of the day, that will come later. But I did just put in the application to get a booth at all. So I will add that to the agenda.
Awesome, thank you. Alrighty. Thank you all, and see you next week.
Thanks.
Thanks. See you online.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.